Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back. Our guest today is Chris Galizio, the executive producer of Money Game. Chris is an experienced institutional portfolio manager with a long track record of success. Welcome back, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Ivan. Good to be back again.
Yeah, it's good to have you back on. Last time we spoke, it was quite a while back, and I wanted to get you on to talk about, all of the excitement that's happening in gold and in silver. Like last time we spoke, gold was a lot lower than what it is now. First, I want to pick your brain and say, what are your thoughts on gold? Is it going higher from here? Is it going to be, more, yeah, what are your thoughts?
So I don't think putting a price target on gold makes any sense. Think about it. If you were in Weimar, Germany, which I think we're in, right? That's what money game is. It's basically showing you're in a sovereign debt crisis. And think about if you bought gold back in Weimar at 3,000 and sold it at 30,000. Then you sold all your gold. You have a bunch of money. You stick it in your wheelbarrow. You bring your wheelbarrow to the corner store to get bread. You
Right.
run to get the bread. You come back with your bread. Your marks or the dollars are spewing throughout the street, but your wheelbarrow's gone.
Right. Because it's the
So,
wheelbarrow is worth more.
correct. So to put a price target during a sovereign debt crisis doesn't make sense. It would mean that you don't understand gold or silver, right? Because the reason you own it is to protect against a massive default, a sovereign debt crisis in the G7. And I think that's what we're watching, and that's why I made money game.
So I guess talk a little bit about Money Game and the sovereign debt crisis. There's so much instability in the world right now, and I want to talk. I want you to talk about not only why did you make it, because you just briefly
Yep.
explained why you made it, but just explain everything about Money Game. Where can people find it and all?
Sure. So you can go on and as of last week, it was the number one movie on Tubi. It's free on Tubi, so just go on
Wow.
Tubi, type in Money Game. It's the biggest movie right now. It's also on Amazon if you want to buy it. But I think what we're seeing is that you're living in a dystopian world, right? You're kind of seeing that nothing makes sense. As a matter of fact, it's the opening quote in the movie. The task is not to see what no one else sees, but to think what no one else has thought about that which everybody sees. Because you're seeing that nothing makes sense. You know the value of GameStop. It's zero. You know the value of Boeing. If you looked at Boeing's cash flows, you'd say, well, they haven't made a profit since 2018, right? So if I asked a 10-year-old how much would you pay for the right to lose 10 billion a year, they'd laugh at you and say zero, right? So all that's happening is the Fed prints money, it flows to the indexes go up, right? So it's just a virtual flow. So if you look at money game, if you look at the poster, it says money game, don't get played, because you're
Right.
effectively getting played by the Fed because nothing makes sense. When interest rates go negative, all assets are worth infinite. Professor Gardner will say, he'll say, my coffee is worth infinite. My desk is worth infinite. My whiteboard's worth infinite. Does that make sense? And so what you're seeing is that nothing in markets makes sense. I mean, you're seeing companies like, I talked about GameStop, Reddit. All these companies lose money. We actually had a review, and actually, I'm working now as a trustee of the British Gold Trust, and Petro Golovko, sorry, runs the British Gold Trust. He reviewed Money Game, and he said James, the lead character in Money Game, isn't asking Bryson, the villain, he's the CEO of the next big thing, Snapchat, TikTok, all that. He isn't asking Bryson, how does your company make money? He's asking the audience, how long will you tolerate a system built on lies? Because that's what
Right.
you're watching, right? They're printing money out of thin air. And so the whole system is based on lies. It's not backed by anything, right? We were in the gold standard in 1971. And what I believe is you're now sitting at the end of the dollar system. And it's not the dollar as the global reserve currency, it's the US Treasury bond as the reserve note, right?
Right.
So why would anyone ever buy a bond with a negative yield? Here we are again. Switzerland just went to negative yields, right? Why would you ever buy a bond from a country with a guaranteed loss? It doesn't make any sense,
No, it
right?
doesn't.
And what the money game is it's manipulating interest rates. So right, when you manipulate, here's a quote that we had that we were trying to get into money game, never got in. But when the government assumes all the risk, it's the currency that's at risk. It reminds me of a scene from Superman.
Right.
Lois falls out the window. Superman dives down and saves her and says, "I've got you." And Lois says, "But who has you?" Right?
Right.
You're not backed by anything. And so now you're seeing. Stocks aren't efficient. Professor Gardner will lift the book, The Efficient Market Thesis, and he laughs and he tosses it in the trash and he goes, "Smart people thought the world was flat once too." Because it's groupthink. You're sitting in the biggest groupthink. People still believe markets are efficient, but you could have a 10-year-old look at financial statements of these companies, Reddit, Boeing, GameStop. A 10-year-old would look at it and go, "I would. There's no. It's worthless."
If you're a gold owner, you already know about all the ways precious metals can hedge yourself against financial instability. Monetary Metals is revolutionizing how people can invest in gold and silver. Right now, there's opportunities for you to earn 4% interest on your gold paid in gold in their marketplace. Now is the time to secure your wealth in an asset that the government can't inflate away. Join thousands of investors earning interest in physical gold and silver every single month with Monetary Metals. Grow your gold over time so that you're not just preserving, but growing your wealth in an asset that can't get inflated away by just printing more money. Visit the link in the description below to get started now. Yeah,
So,
they're losing so much money.
because you're not investing in these businesses, right? You're
Right.
financing them. You're providing the financing. As a matter of fact, the system is working in reverse. The more a company issues shares, the more it goes up. Because when you remove risk from an ecosystem, the ecosystem changes. Now the entire system is passive and quant. The system no longer prices assets, it prices liquidity. Right?
Yeah.
That's why I say you're getting played because the Fed just injects more money, stocks go up regardless of fundamentals.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Chris. I'm with you, like on board with that, because everyone in this community, we totally understand that, the currency devaluation has gotten to a point where it does feel like a Weimar event is right here. But I wanted to talk to you about, I guess, what's next for the currency wars? Like, is it after the US dollar? Are we the fiat currency system? Are we headed to a crypto system? Are we headed to a gold back system? Like, there's so much chatter about what's next. Like, well, central bankers aren't just gonna let go of their power. What are they gonna fight for next?
So the way I would answer that is it's George Orwell, right? You're living in a dystopian society. George Orwell said the end was contained in the beginning,
Right.
right? Yes, the central bankers won't give up their power. So what happens first is the currency falls. By the way, that sends stocks up, right? So everyone's
Right.
waiting. So during a sovereign debt crisis, if you look at Argentina recently, if you look at Venezuela 5 or 6 years ago, stocks went up, right? That's what you're watching in the U.S. Stocks going up isn't a sign that stocks going up every year isn't a sign of a healthy ecosystem. It's a sign that the ecosystem is broken. Think
Right.
about if you looked out your window and you saw thousands of gazelle, would you think that the ecosystem's flourishing, or would you
No,
think the ecosystem's broken? There's no risk left. There's no lions, right?
right.
Professor Gardner will say that the lions have been eaten. Active managers risk. It's a bunch of followers, quant, following followers, passive. It's like a cat chasing its tail, right? So markets don't price anything anymore, and that's a big deal. There's no price discovery in markets, and therefore it's not capitalism. So if the currency collapses, we go back to the gold standard. All of a sudden, it's a return to capitalism. Global economy will boom higher. That's a good thing, not a bad thing, right? That's a happy ending. Not right now. You're seeing all the money is flowing to the rich at the expense of the poor. Professor
Right.
Gardner will say, "Do you see why the rich have all the money? Their stocks are trading at infinite." I mean, think about Boeing. Boeing loses $10 billion a year, trades at 140 billion right now.
That's
You know,
insanity.
but you know the value. That's why I say we all a 10-year-old would know the value. The thing that's funny is a 10-year-old will understand the value, but a financial professional won't.
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stacker. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the channel. Subscribe, please like the video, and also hit the notification bell. Keep stacking. Yeah,
They'll
which makes just a backwards world.
Well, that's exactly right. Everything's flipped in reverse. So it's not markets are not only not efficient, they're opposite. Companies that make a lot of money. I own a company called Zim Corp. Trades at they earned $15 over the last 2 quarters. It trades at 14. It's a
Right.
shipping company. It's real assets, right? And then on the other hand, you can look at Palantir, which trades at 92 times sales. There is no one in the world that would choose Palantir over Zim. No one. So what's happening? It's all passive and quant. The entire system, the ecosystem changed, which is one of the biggest points in the movie. Professor Gardner will say correct. And when the Fed intervened in bond markets, they broke the ecosystem of capitalism. So the
Wow.
entire system shifted to passive and quant. So now the entire system isn't thinking.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a big story. And that's why I had to make the movie.
Wow, it's so exciting. Before you go, I'd really love for people to connect with you, Chris. Everyone watching, please go check out Money Game. You said what are the platforms that it's on? You could
So it's
get it
on
on
Tubi,
Amazon.
it's on Amazon, it's on Fandango. It's free on Tubi. So I just send everyone to go to Tubi. Tubi last year had 60 million subscribers. This year they have 120. So
Wow.
they've doubled. They've grown like crazy. To put in that perspective, Netflix is now at 300 million, right? But networks charges freebie. Tubi's free. You can also go on Amazon if it's easier for you. But you can
Wow.
also contact me on LinkedIn, right? It's Chris Galizio, LinkedIn. I post all the time. I have 18,000 followers. I've got 15,000 connections. So people message me all the time if you have questions. I'm really just trying to send a message that the ecosystem of capitalism is broken, and that's why I made the movie.
Wow. You know what, Chris? Such a huge pleasure having you come back down to the silver and gold community. And I'm personally gonna go watch Money Game because I'm really excited to check it out. So it's such a huge pleasure having you come down. And as always, as the market develops, would absolutely love to have you back on, Chris.
I'd be happy to come on anytime. Now you should look in Money Game. Look for the animals. Look for the lions, active managers. Gazelle, passive. Look for the wildebeest. The Professor Gardner will say the Reddit guys finally figured out how to trigger the stampede of
Right.
algorithms.
Right.
Aggregate a bunch of buyers, right? Look for the lion. I'm sorry. Look for the rhino. It's gold, right? Rhino coin will pop out. It's not quite a dinosaur yet. So you'll see cheetah coin, which is crypto, right? The only animal you'll never see in Money Game is the elephant because it's the real economy. It's our lead character, James.
Wow. Wow. That's fantastic. Well, Chris, again, such a huge pleasure having you come down to the silver and gold community. And everyone watching, highly recommend you go check out Money Game.
Thanks, Ivan. Good to be here.
Take care.